The first time Nurse Elena Morales saw the Admiral's daughter, she thought the child looked like a porcelain doll that had been dropped too many times and carefully glued back together. Pale skin, thin arms, and patches of missing hair that no doctor in the country seemed able to explain. No one at St. Catherine's Hospital talked about her like a normal patient. They called her the Admiral's daughter, as if her illness belonged to her father's rank instead of her small, trembling body. But to Elena, she was simply Lily, a quiet 11-year-old girl who spent her days sitting by the window of room 402, watching birds she was too weak to chase. For 2 years, Lily had been poked, scanned, tested, and examined by more specialists than most people meet in a lifetime. 300 surgeons and physicians had reviewed her case. Every possible diagnosis had been suggested: rare autoimmune disorders, mysterious genetic conditions, even stress-induced alopecia. None of the treatments worked. Her hair kept falling out. Her strength kept fading, and no one could figure out why. Admiral Richard Hawthorne was a powerful man, used to commanding fleets and shaping decisions. But inside that hospital room, he was just a helpless father watching his only child disappear piece by piece. He funded experimental treatments, flew in experts from overseas, and filled binders with medical reports. Still, nothing changed. By the time Elena was assigned to Lily's care, most of the staff had stopped believing in miracles. The girl was considered a tragic mystery, a case destined for medical journals rather than recovery. But Elena had always believed that healing sometimes required more than machines and lab results. On her first shift, she noticed things others had overlooked. Lily flinched whenever someone touched her left side. She rarely finished her meals, pushing food around her plate with quiet frustration. And every afternoon at exactly 3 o'clock, her headaches became so severe she would curl into a ball and cry. None of this was written clearly in her charts. One evening, while brushing what little hair Lily had left, Elena asked gently, "When did this all start, sweetheart?" Lily thought for a moment. "After my birthday, 2 years ago," she whispered. "I got really sick after the party." The answer stuck with Elena. Something about it felt important. She began reading every page of Lily's medical history late at night, long after her shift ended. Hundreds of reports blurred together: blood tests, MRI scans, psychological evaluations. Everything looked normal on paper, yet the child in front of her was anything but normal. Then Elena found a single line buried deep in an old report: patient experienced severe stomach illness following birthday celebration. Cause unknown. That was it. No follow-up, no further investigation. Most doctors had focused on Lily's hair loss and weakness, assuming the stomach illness was unrelated. But Elena couldn't shake the feeling that it was the key to everything. The next day, she asked Admiral Hawthorne a simple question no one had asked before. What exactly did Lily eat at that party? The Admiral frowned, surprised. Just cake, snacks, the usual things. Why? Elena hesitated. She was only a nurse. Questioning the conclusions of hundreds of specialists felt almost arrogant. But something in her heart told her to keep going. Did anything unusual happen afterward? She pressed. He thought hard. She complained the cake tasted strange. But none of the other kids got sick. That detail lit a small spark in Elena's mind. She requested permission to run a few basic tests, nothing complicated, just things that had strangely never been prioritized. Nutritional screenings, environmental toxin panels, tests for allergic and chemical reactions. Some of the senior doctors laughed at her suggestions. All of that's already been considered, one told her. This case is far more complex than that. But Admiral Hawthorne, exhausted and desperate, agreed to let her try. 2 weeks later, the results came in. Lily had dangerously high levels of thallium in her system, a rare, highly toxic metal often used in old pesticides and certain industrial products. Long-term exposure could cause hair loss, nerve damage, stomach problems, and gradual weakness. Exactly what Lily had been experiencing. Elena felt her hands shake as she read the report. 300 surgeons had searched for complicated diseases when the real answer had been simple poisoning. Further investigation revealed the horrifying truth. The decorative silver frosting used on Lily's birthday cake had been contaminated by illegal, cheaply imported coloring powder containing traces of thallium. Lily had been the only child to eat multiple slices. The mystery was finally solved. Treatment began immediately. Slowly, painfully, Lily's body began to heal. Detox therapies replaced endless surgeries. Strength returned to her small limbs. Color came back to her cheeks. And months later, Soft brown hair began growing again like tender new grass after a storm. Admiral Hawthorne wept the first time he saw it. "You saved my daughter," he told Elena, his voice breaking. When everyone else had given up, Elena shook her head gently. "I just listened," she replied. Lily walked out of the hospital 6 months later holding Elena's hand, healthier than she had been in years. The once frail girl waved goodbye to the room that had stolen so much of her childhood. News of the discovery spread quickly through the medical world. Articles were written, awards were offered, but Elena never cared about recognition. What mattered was that a little girl had her life back. On Lily's first day home, she sent Elena a picture of herself running outside with a full head of hair and a bright, fearless smile. At the bottom, she had written in messy handwriting, "Thank you for seeing me when no one else did." And in the end, that was the real miracle, not advanced machines or famous surgeons, but one nurse who refused to stop paying attention. The story of Lily Hawthorne became a powerful reminder that sometimes the biggest answers are found not in grand titles or crowded conference rooms, but in simple compassion, careful listening, and the courage to question what everyone else has accepted as impossible.